Hi, this is J.R. Smart. Every day, customers tell me what a truly exceptional experience it is buying from Smart Toyota with our friendly staff and all the little extras you won't find anywhere else. We also understand the importance of being involved in and giving back to our community. And of course, we have great deals too.
Visit smarttoyota.com for our latest deals, including special APR and lease offers on our award-winning Toyota and Scion lineup.
Smart Toyota, Odana Road, Madison.
Welcome to the glossy pages of Madison Magazine Come to Life. Each month we'll take a look at the most enlightening, entertaining, and thought-provoking sides of Madison. I'm Dina Wright. You know, there's much more diversity today on the UW-Madison campus than when I attended the university some years ago. Whether you're sitting outside on the Memorial Union Terrace, enjoying a scoop of Babcock ice cream, studying at Helen C. White Library, or just walking up Bascom Hill, the landscape at UW-Madison is rocking many different hues these days. And that means the university must tackle the issue of diversity.
I didn't know I was black until I got to college. And being from the south side of Chicago, you think, how does that work, right?
UW-Madison theater professor Patrick Sims is helping to lead diversity efforts at the university to create a more welcoming and inclusive campus for its students of color. And while the efforts of Sims and others are aimed to benefit the more than 4,000 Asian, Latino, Black, Native American, and LGBTQ students, Sims says it's not just non-majority students he's after.
Now, I want to figure out how to reach the average white guy, right? And what I mean by that, not to be sexist, in the sense that diversity, inclusivity is something that has value across the board. I mean, the business sector tells us this, the research tells us this, we see it in the results with our students and their success rates. The challenge is not everybody sees it that way. And it's not for lack of interest, it's not part of their day-to-day experience or activities. So if I can reach the average white guy, I can find just about everybody else in between.
As a first-generation college student, he certainly understands the complexity students face with the intersection of race, gender, class, culture, and sexual identity. He acknowledges, as interim vice provost for diversity and climate, the task of bringing about inclusiveness is not an easy one.
We're going to ask the students to challenge us. What are the things that they want us to pay attention to as individuals who sit with the spheres of influence that we have on this campus? And the challenge we're going to give back to them is, what are they going to do to help us to achieve those goals?
If the turnout at UW's annual Multicultural Orientation and Reception event last month is any indication, students of color welcome the university's efforts. But they also recognize that inclusivity may not be without its difficulties and challenges.
I feel like students of color are here not just as students but as agents of change. And coming here, and there's so many white people. There's so many white folks, like I can't put it any other way, but it's different, but it's a challenge every day. It's a new challenge every day. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's always bad.
We're going to make mistakes along the way. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to make mistakes in this role. And having support and input from other individuals, other players on campus to, you know, hey, Patrick, let me talk to you for a second. That's always a welcome addition, because you can't do this work alone.
Fortunately, Sims isn't facing these challenges alone. Ruby Paredes is no stranger to promoting diversity at the UW. In 1999, she helped create the groundbreaking People program, which provides a pre-college experience for underrepresented prospective college students. Paredes says although there are challenges with regard to the retention of students of color, she believes efforts by the university to attract those students are working.
We have about 10%, a little over 10%. The incoming class, though, is more than, it's about 14% of the incoming class. Now that's an improvement over the numbers that we've seen over the years. So those are small, you know, marks of progress, and we want to continue to make sure that they come in, they're retained, and especially graduated. So their success is very important.
While school officials say incidents of overt racism or hate-based behaviors have decreased over the years, they are prepared to deal with them when they happen.
And when those kinds of experiences happen and you're on the receiving end of that, where do you go? What do you do? So we have policies and procedures in place to address that very thing. We know we're not going to stop all of it, but if we can show some kind of human compassion and empathy, even at the highest echelons of a 40,000 plus size institution, with respect to its membership, that goes a long way.
Many students of color at this year's MCORE say they appreciate the school's recognition of the need to create a learning environment that respects their differences and embraces all students.
My high school was like 99% African American, so it's very new coming to a predominantly white institution. But like my friend said, there are a lot of institutions and just groups that allow us to be the best we can be with each other, as well as integrating ourselves in the Wisconsin community in general.
Well-known Wisconsin Alumni Association president and CEO Paula Bonner says there's a plethora of individuals of color who have graduated from UW-Madison who are still embracing their love of all things Badger. She's one of the organizers of this year's first ever UW Multicultural Homecoming.
One of the things that weekend is to connect the multicultural alumni with the diverse students that are here and do more to create some mentorships and opportunities for these current students, these little babies, to meet and see, well, here's a CEO, here's a scientist at MIT, here's the local doctor, and to have more opportunities to continue to see where their next steps and their path and their journey in life can go, and to be a resource for the students.
But it's Paredes and Sims charged with making sure that non-majority students have a successful UW career. They agree the issue is about far more than just numbers.
That diversity is what makes it possible to be innovative and creative, because people bring their ideas, they bring their perspectives, and bring the richness of the differences that are brought together result in some of the most creative and innovative ideas.
And while the university has provided Sims with many tools at his disposal, there's one he doesn't have.
Let's say that you had a magic wand, or you had a nose that twitched like Bewitched. Tell me in your words, you're as close to perfect campus in your mind's eye. How would you see this?
I need some time to think about that. My magic wand. Wow. I would say a campus where students of color don't have to defend who they are, don't have to explain who they are. When people are curious or interested in asking questions about one's identity or background, that there is a genuine spirit of appreciation, one that is valuing the difference, and one that is embracing, to a certain extent, of that which is unfamiliar. Now, how you make that happen, that's the hard part.
It's not an easy task, but faculty, staff, and students agree. Diversity efforts at UW-Madison are improving, and with every new semester, the campus is becoming more inclusive. If you'd like more information on the UW's Multicultural Homecoming, check out their website, uwalumni.com. Later, we'll talk Packers with a 20-year veteran and take a delicious tour. Coming up next, Zach Brandon and Shiva Bidar go head-to-head on some of Madison's hottest topics.
Madison Magazine is brought to you by Smart Toyota and University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Where others saw lumber, we recognized a treasure. Where others saw the night, we chose the stars. Where others saw pieces, we unlocked the puzzle that could mean the end of paralysis and cancer. Since 1848, thinkers and achievers at Wisconsin have fearlessly sought ideas that transform the world. Keep on, Wisconsin. Keep on.
Welcome back to the Madison Magazine Show. We talked about diversity in the first segment, and Madison is certainly home to all sorts of diverse people with all sorts of diverse opinions. In our regular segment, With All Due Respect, Greater Madison Chamber of Commerce President Zach Brandon and Alderperson Shiva Bidar face off on some of the city's most talked about topics.
Thanks, Dina. When you think about lively topics right now in our region, it was very hard not to miss the column in the October Madison Magazine that was written by Rebecca Ryan, where she called it Tier 2 trade-off. Essentially said we give up something to live here. And with all due respect to Rebecca Ryan, I think she misses the point that it's density that matters, not scale. And she was comparing us to other cities that have significant scale. And it's frustrating when you think about it, particularly because she's somebody who spends her time looking for what's next, looking for trends. And in this case, I think she missed what's right underneath her nose.
Well, you know, I always like a provocateur, and I think that that's what Rebecca was trying to do, is have a conversation happen, and she sure made it happen. I think what was really missing in the article is the fact that we're always comparing ourselves to others, Austin, Portland, San Francisco, and instead of that, we should really focus on what's going on here in Madison. How do we rank as Madison in the things that we do and we need to support to continue being a great city? And I really think one of the things that we continue talking about, but I don't think we've moved the needle that much, is the diversity of our city and how can we make sure that that's part of our city's success.
Well, one of the things she lamented was that we didn't have a WNBA team, but neither does San Francisco. So there you go.
There you go. Well, back to diversity, Noble Ray, Chief Noble Ray just retired. After 29 years of service at Madison Police Department. I think he's going to be really missed. He really brought a lot of charisma, a good heart, and also really a way to look at law enforcement that's so Madison. What do you think about his legacy?
I mean, I think it's an amazing story when you think of a beat cop starting out in the South Side District, going all the way up into the chief. It's a great story for our region. It's a great story of ascension and personal success. I'm a little worried that, much like you said with diversity, is that with Chief Tubbs retiring at the Capitol, and now with Noble Ray's retirement, that we don't have a chief of police who's of color, and I think it sends the wrong message about who we are and who we aspire to be. But you know, the larger question for me too, though, is the legacy that he left. And I think that when you think about the legacy, in this case, I think I always say you should end on a make. In this case, I think he's ending on a miss. But some of the other things he has a legacy for are cracking down on Mifflin, changing the Freak Fest or the Halloween Festival over. And so, you know, he's been noted for that. But now UW has been ranked #2 as a party school. And I think there's some hand-wringing that goes on in that. Personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think if you're a high-attaining university and you have a party culture, it's okay.
Well, you know, first of all, #2 in Playboy magazine, and I don't know that that's, you know, the source that you want to use to really know whether you're a party school or not. But regardless, I think that, you know, being a party school is okay if it wasn't that much focus on alcohol. And I think that the issue of alcohol continues to be an issue that we're struggling with, I think, at UW and just as a culture in Wisconsin. So it's great to be overachievers. I don't think that we should really rank #1 or #2 in binge drinking, which seems to be a trend here at UW. With that, back to you, Dina.
Thanks, Zach and Shiva. We'll be back with the coolest way to discover some of the city's most savory neighborhoods, one bite at a time. Stay with us.
Where others saw limits, we found a key to feeding a hungry planet. Where others thought big, we proved the power of small. Where others saw a frozen desert, we discovered a lens into the heart of the universe. Since 1848, thinkers and achievers at Wisconsin have fearlessly sought ideas that transform the world. Keep on, Wisconsin. Keep on.
Welcome back to Madison Magazine. So, where can you eat some of the city's best local food and get a workout all at the same time? On one of Otelia Cassidy's walking food tours. I took one recently, and here's my delicious report. Otelia Cassidy.
Hi, Dina.
Hi, you are a blogger. You
right.
write for Madison Magazine. And the thing that interests me is I hear that you organize something called walking food tours.
That's right.
Tell me more about that.
Well, a walking food tour is a way to explore a part of a community. So the east side of Madison is a very rich and diverse community, and there's lots of locally owned restaurants. And I like to give people an opportunity to connect with those parts of our community. So I take them on a tour that stops at about 5 or 6 different restaurants. We sample the food, we get to meet the chef or the owner of the restaurant, and it's a great, fun way to experience the food in Madison.
Oh, it sounds like a blast. So tell me this, when can I go on a food tour?
We can go right now.
Okay, let's go.
All right.
We're at Lao Lan San. I hope I pronounced that right. And I'm talking to San, the owner and operator here. Great restaurant. what people aren't even here in the ambiance. I can just feel it's so homey and cozy. Tell me a little bit about the restaurant.
Well, it was started in 1989 by my mother, Bunyong. She worked in restaurants pretty much her entire life, even when she was a youth in Laos before we immigrated to the country. She worked in restaurants, and then she just wanted something of her own, so she decided to open up a restaurant.
And it's the first Laotian restaurant in Madison.
Lao cuisine and Asian cuisine is similar. They use a lot of the similar ingredients, but the staple of it is sticky rice. It's glutinous rice, traditionally eaten with the fingers, and then we stress a lot of fresh ingredients.
Otelia, what do you hope that people who take the tour get out of it?
Well, for one, they get to experience some of the cultural diversity that we have in Madison through the different foods. And also people get to try food that they haven't had before, maybe at a familiar restaurant, or try a new restaurant. And also one of the most exciting things about the tours is that people get an inside look at the restaurant. So they get to meet the chefs or the owners and get sort of a VIP treatment.
Yeah, that they don't normally get.
Right, exactly.
Gail Ambrosius.
Hi.
Hello there. So your shop is called Gail Ambrosius Chocolatier.
Yes.
I tell you, locally made chocolate, what could get better than that?
Dark chocolate is really good for you health-wise, and actually I have a customer that uses it as a diet plan. She eats one dark chocolate every day, and that way she doesn't want anything else. It's very satisfying.
Oh, I can understand that because it's so smooth. You can tell it's great quality chocolate.
Very nice.
And I understand you travel to find the best quality ingredients for your chocolate.
I do. I visit many, many farms. I've been to Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, and Costa Rica.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming in.
So tell me, how do you choose the restaurants and the stops you make on the food tour?
Well, food tours are about supporting our local economy. So I choose places that are locally owned and also places that support our local farmers and producers.
Well, we are at Bunky's. I'm here for the first time, actually, and we're talking to the general manager,
Tina Calantoni.
So Tina, I've heard so much about Bunky's. It's been around since, what, the 1930s?
Initially it has.
Is this representative of what folks would get who come on the walking tour?
It is. It's identical as to what they would receive. They get a lunch of soup and then this is actually a sampler of our med combo.
This is enough to fill you up.
Exactly, and it's been such a popular, we had it on the menu as an appetizer and it's become so popular that we now have it on the menu as an appetizer and as an entree.
Well, thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure.
Thank
Absolutely.
you so much. It is really good. Okay, what's the next stop?
The next stop is Stalzy's Deli.
Here we are at Stalzy's on Atwood Avenue. I'm here with one of the owners, Neil Stahlberger. So you're part of the food walking tour. When folks come here, what do they have to look forward to?
Most people start out with the Reuben. That's kind of put us on the map, and then people just kind of go from there. So.
Okay, well, let me start out with the Reuben.
Well,
How's
there
that?
you go. Yeah, we have one right here.
Oh, looks good. So it's real corned beef that you guys
that we make here
cook
in house. Yep. We make I make the bread, I make the corned beef, and the sauerkraut as well. And the Swiss cheese is from Wisconsin, of course. So yeah, it's just very simple.
Very simple, but very good.
Excellent.
Very good. This is a meal for sure. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank you so much for taking me on this food tour.
It was a pleasure.
I had an amazing time. I'm stuffed.
Yeah.
I'm even taking food home.
I hear you. It's been great fun. Thank you so much.
For more information on how to book a walking or a biking food tour, or for more information on any of Otelia's other activities, you can check out our website at madisoneats.net. You know, maybe the only thing more popular in Wisconsin than good food is the Green Bay Packers. Madison native and former WISC TV sports anchor Jessie Garcia has been covering the Pack for 20 years. Now she's going deep with her green and gold memories in a new book. And though she spent much of her career at Lambeau Field, Jessie tells us her love of sports started right here in Madison.
I have been in that press box as a reporter here at Camp Randall dozens, maybe hundreds of times, and it actually was the Badgers that got me interested in sports in the first place, but not necessarily the Badger football team, at least at the beginning. It was the team that played in the old field house way back when, the Badger basketball team. Very early on, I was anchoring sports at WISC. This was 1992, when I had just come out of college, and a gentleman called after the show, and he said, I am never going to watch Channel 3 again. And I said, why? And he said, because you're a chick, and chicks don't know anything about sports. Obviously, Mike Holmgren taking the Packers to the Super Bowl was such a huge deal. And yet at the same time, you have Barry Alvarez making Rose Bowls a habit around here and turning this program from what it was to an absolute successful top-tier Big Ten program. And it's continued to be that, you know, all these years later. So I think that, I don't know that I can put one over the other. I think they both had just a tremendous impact on this state and on the sports in this state. But it all started from, you know, oh, isn't this funny? I wonder if people would enjoy this. And wanting to show the human side of the athletes, the coaches, and of myself as a reporter and the other reporters that I worked with. I still remember talking with Bob Harlan in the locker room right after they clinched the trip to the Super Bowl, after the NFC Championship game when they beat Carolina to earn their ticket. And as I was asking him, I said, is there a moment from today, just one thing that you're going to remember the most when you look back on this, you know, decades from now? And he could not even answer. He just broke down crying. I had just had Jake, my oldest son, but I had no babysitter, and I was also nursing. And Jake came up to Lambeau with me, and what I remember most is that he needed his diaper changed. And so I took him into the tunnel and I changed his diaper in the Packers tunnel, and somebody snapped a picture of it. I think that as much as I enjoyed watching Brett Favre because he was so crazy and you never knew what he was going to do and was he going to flip the ball this way or that way, and because his durability was unmatched and was absolutely incredible, and the fact that he was never hurt is just unheard of, or played through so many things. I would have to say that if I had to go to war with somebody as my quarterback, I would take Aaron Rodgers because of that arm strength, that accuracy, and he is whip smart, and he knows what he's doing out there.
You can find Jesse's book, My Life with the Green and Gold, right now at Amazon.com. Last but not least, if you were told that in order to get ahead at work, you needed to have plastic surgery, would you do it? Darrell Connor gives us his take when we come back.
Hi, this is J.R. Smart. Every day, customers tell me what a truly exceptional experience it is buying from Smart Toyota with our friendly staff and all the little extras you won't find anywhere else. We also understand the importance of being involved in and giving back to our community. And of course, we have great deals too.
Visit smarttoyota.com for our latest deals, including special APR and lease offers on our award-winning Toyota and Scion lineup.
Smart Toyota, Odana Road, Madison.
Welcome back to Madison Magazine. I'm Darrell Connor. CBS TV host and moderator Julie Chen confessed recently that she had plastic surgery to make her eyes bigger. Now, normally that wouldn't be a big deal. Many people, it seems, have gone under the knife these days, from tummy tucks to nose jobs to breast enhancements. What makes this story different is the fact that Julie Chen is Chinese. Here's the skinny. 20 years ago, as a television reporter in Dayton, Ohio, Chen asked her news producer if she could fill in for vacationing anchors over the holidays. His reply? Chen would never be behind the anchor desk, not only because he felt she wasn't relatable to the community due to her heritage, but that her Asian eyes made her look bored and disinterested. To add insult to injury, a big-time agent refused to represent her unless she got plastic surgery. He told Chen that a few swipes of the scalpel would take her straight to the top. Despite the fact that these statements were made by two small-minded and bigoted individuals, Chen wondered if they were right. She became so obsessed about her eyes and how she looked on camera, she ultimately decided to have the surgery. Fast forward to 2013, and Julie Chen is now the co-host of The Talk and the host of the reality show Big Brother. Chen says that while she still struggles with her decision to have the surgery, the offers did in fact pour in. Now, some have praised her decision, while others have called her a sellout, someone all too willing to sacrifice a piece of her heritage for fame. Now, to be fair, Julie Chen was 25 years old when this all went down, and I'm sure she was under a lot of pressure as a woman of color trying to make a name for herself. But I can't help but wonder, if she had to do this all over again, would she make the same decision today? More importantly, why are we as a society so obsessed with looks that we prioritize it over talent? The time to revisit ourselves and decide what's more important, the outside or the inside, is long overdue. As for Julie Chen, I'm still trying to decide which is worse, the blatant and overt racism that she endured or how she chose to deal with it.
Thanks, Darrell. Well, that's it for us. For more of Madison's best, check us out at MadisonMagazine.com. Give us a like on Facebook and follow us at Madison Mag on Twitter. Thanks so much for watching. We'll be back next month.
Madison Magazine is brought to you by Smart Toyota and University of Wisconsin, Madison.